Good morning. I have made a decision to challenge myself. I have approximately 6 weeks left till the end of the year. I have 9 books I would like to read by the end of the year. 9 books. Does not mean that I will not complete some other books. I have books I listen to, books I read on Kindle and Kobo, but I have 9 physical copy books that I want to complete by the end of 2025. And I'm going to show you these books, and then I'm going to track these books, and I'm going to tell you when I finish how I did. But here are the books. The first will be a reread, but I want to read this one for a very important reason, and it will be one of the very first. I will start it immediately, and it will be one of the very first ones that I make sure I prioritize. It's for an important reason. This is At Home in Mitford by Jane Karen. I have a pretty beat up copy of this book. At Home in Mitford by Jane Karen. Here's the reason. I had in January a friend who passed away, an elderly friend. She passed away. She introduced me to this series. And when I read this series, I feel like she is a part of that, like her presence. I'm not saying, oh, she's here, but I'm just saying I can't help but think of her. I cannot help but think of her and connect her to this series. And so At Home in Mitford by Jane Karen is the book that I will prioritize because her death anniversary is coming up in January, and I want this to be something. I want to have this book finished before that anniversary because I intend to celebrate her all through January. And I will be continuing this series because I just want to honor her life with a few things. And this is one of them. Reading was very important to her. Okay, that's one. Another one. In January, season 2 of All Creatures Great and Small actually kicks off. Not season 2. I'm sorry, season 6. There are 5 seasons out right now. I listen to those on PBS or watch them on PBS, and you can too. I have a PBS passport. I understand that not everybody thinks PBS is popular right now. I really don't care. I love it. And I have a PBS passport, meaning that I pay a monthly fee to have PBS programming at my fingertips all the time, not just the live stuff. You can see the live stuff for free, and that's one of the reasons why it was such an important thing to support it. But I digress. Okay. So, All Creatures Great and Small, Season 6, will be coming out in January. I'm excited about that. But did you know there's a real James Herriot? There was a real story about a real vet, and that program, which is awesome, is based on that real story. So I am reading this book, If Only They Could Talk, by James Herriot. It is at least part of the first book that he wrote, and I'm not sure. I'm going to read through this one, and then I'm going to go to the first book in the 4-book series, I think it's 4 books, and see if this entire thing is in there or if it's just something different. But If Only They Could Talk, it's where he began as a vet, and it's also where season 1 begins in the program. I just want to start warming up my All Creatures Great and Small vibes before I go into season 6. Okay, so there's that. I am holding this camera, and I am not real good at keeping it still. Okay, A Lancaster County Christmas by Suzanne Woods Fisher. There is no cover for this book, and I did not get like a story about what it's really about. It's Christmas, it's Amish, Lancaster County. I will probably talk about this one because her Amish books are usually pretty deep. It's not real long, but her Amish books are usually pretty deep. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's one I've had on my shelf since last year, Christmas time, I think it was. I got this last year, found it thrifting, but I haven't read it yet. And it's one that I actually had checked out through the digital library. Also didn't get it finished, but now is the time. So here we go. I enjoy Christmas books, as you know, and I enjoy Suzanne Woods Fisher books, and I enjoy Amish books, and not all Amish, but most of them, I would say, I have found a reason to enjoy. So I'm looking forward to this one. Okay. And speaking of Amish, Amy Clipston, A Gift of Grace. This is book 1 in a series, and I'm going to read you the back of this one, but I have the whole series because a friend so kindly gifted it to me. Rebecca always dreamed of being a mother, and now she is, of 2 teenage girls. Somehow it just wasn't the scenario she had planned. Rebecca Kaufman longs to fulfill her quiet old order Amish life by giving her husband Daniel a child. But for years, she's been unable to conceive. When her older sister Grace, who left the Amish community for the modern world, dies in an automobile accident, Rebecca is left custody of her 2 teenage nieces, Jessica and Lindsay. Now Rebecca wonders how she's going to take on this daunting task of being an Amish woman raising 2 English teenagers. Rebecca struggles to give the girls the guidance they need as she tries to fulfill her duties as an Amish wife. The strain between Rebecca and Daniel mounts as the girls search for their identity in this new home. Caught between her husband's disapproval and her niece's unhappiness, Rebecca begins to question her place in the Amish community, her marriage, and her faith in God. Will she be able to reconcile differences in her home, or will the clash of cultures tear her world apart? A Gift of Grace. And the series follows, these folks. These girls are featured in other books, and so I'm looking forward to completing this book. I've started it. I'm a chapter or 2 in, and I'm looking forward to completing this and just enjoying. It's quite a read, quite a long read, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it. Okay. Another one that I've started that I really enjoyed the first couple chapters is by Dani Petrie, Submerged. This is a suspense, inspirational suspense. And there's the copy. Okay, I'm going to read the back. A sabotaged plane, 2 dead deep water divers, 1 single clue. Bailey Craig vowed never to set foot in Yancey, Alaska again. She has a past and a reputation, and Yancey's a town that doesn't forget. She's returned only to bury a loved one killed in the plane crash, but then dark evidence emerges and Bailey's expertise becomes invaluable for the case. Cole McKenna can face dangerous rescue dives. He can face the fear of a murderer may be threatening his town. But facing the reality of Bailey's reappearance is a tougher challenge. She broke his heart, but doesn't seem to be the same girl who left Yancey 10 years ago. And he's not the same guy she left behind. Racing against the clock and a rising body count, Bailey and Cole must move beyond the hurts of their pasts to work together until the truth of what is hidden in the depths finally resurfaces. I like, so far, Dani Petrie's writing. I have never tried her writing before, so this is my first experience with her writing. I love inspirational suspense. It is one of my very favorite genres ever is suspense and mystery, and I really enjoy inspirational suspense, so that's awesome. A book author that I've never read before, but years ago did watch the movie for one of the books that she wrote. It was based on one of the movies she wrote. Fannie Flagg, who was the author of Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. I do intend to purchase that book and read it. I'm curious how it holds up to the movie. Years ago, I watched the movie, not knowing that there was a book, and that author has written a few books, and another one is Can't Wait to Get to Heaven. I've had this book about a year in my library, and I really just want to get it read. And it doesn't say, I was looking to see if it actually, sometimes, it just says fiction. Combining southern warmth with unabashed emotion and side-splitting hilarity, Fannie Flagg takes readers back to Elmwood Springs, Missouri, where the most unlikely and surprising experiences of the high-spirited Elmer Schimfissel inspire a town to ponder the age-old question, what is life all about anyway? It's the strangest thing. One minute Eleanor is up in her tree picking figs, and the next thing she knows she is off on an adventure she never dreamed of, running into people she never in a million years expected to meet. Meanwhile, back in Elmwood Springs, Eleanor's high-strung niece Norma faints and winds up in bed with a cold cloth on her head. Eleanor's neighbor, Verbena, rushes immediately to the Bible. Her truck driver friend, Luther Griggs, runs his 18-wheeler into a ditch, and the entire town is thrown for a loop. In this comedy mystery, those near and dear to Eleanor discover something wonderful, and so will Fanny Flagg's lucky readers. Can't wait to get to heaven, and I'm looking forward to the book. Okay, just one that I want to get read. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be probably heartwarming and funny, and I think it's a good way to end the year. One that's a classic for kids, and I can't believe I've never read, because I've had it in my library for I cannot tell you how long, is Gary Paulsen, Hatchet. Now, I've had this in my library for a long time. I believe I've had a couple different copies of this in my library for a long time. I'm going to read it. 13-year-old Brian Robeson is on his way to visit his father when the single-engine plane in which he's flying crashes. Suddenly, Brian finds himself alone in the Canadian wilderness, with nothing but a tattered windbreaker and the hatchet his mother gave him as a present, and the dreadful secret that's been tearing him apart since his parents' divorce. But now Brian has no time for anger, self-pity, or despair. It will take all his know-how and determination and more courage than he knew he possessed to survive. And I am looking forward to this book too. It's in the Canadian wilderness. It is a young man. It's a survival type of book, and there are, there's family drama, some conflicts, him working through that. I think it's going to be exciting. Okay, so there's that. An author that I'm going to just say I really enjoy reading this author. I have read some of her books are deeper, some of her books are lighter. I find I enjoy all of them, regardless of are they deeper or are they lighter. I just enjoy her books. I just really find enjoyment in them. And that is Colleen Coble. And this book is The House at Saltwater Point. I think it's such a beautiful cover. It really is such a beautiful cover. And I have read, in this series, I have read Leaving Lavender Tides. I think it's a series. Yes, a Lavender Tides novel. I've read Leaving Lavender Tides. I don't think The House at Saltwater Point. I don't think I've read this. Now, if I get into this and figure out this is the one I listened to, I will just go on. There are a couple other books, Secrets of Cedar Cabin and The View from Rain Shadow Bay. That's so small, it's hard for me to see. Those two I still need to read in this series. Ellie Blackwood is making, The Dangerous Beauty of Lavender Tides is harboring secrets that reach around the world. Ellie Blackmore is making a name for herself as a house flipper. But when her sister Mackenzie disappears, Ellie can't focus on anything but uncovering what happened. Her only clue is the blood stain on the deck of Mackenzie's boat. Ellie knows her sister isn't on the best of terms with her ex-husband Jason, but he wouldn't kill her, would he? Coast Guard Intelligence Officer Grayson Bradshaw believes Mackenzie faked her own death after stealing a seized cocaine shipment. The problem is convincing Ellie, who seems to view him as the true enemy. Both Ellie and Grayson want truth, but truth and family is often more complex than it appears. Okay, from international terrorism to the peaceful lavender fields of pungent sound, The House at Saltwater Point is a thrilling race to uncover the truth before it's too late. And this sounds like one that I actually listened to of hers. My wrist is giving me a grief. that I actually listened to two of hers. I'm going to get into it some. If it turns out it is the same one that I listened to, I will probably go ahead and mark it as read, and put it back on the shelf, because I'm going to want to focus on some of the others, and I may prioritize it toward the end, just in case that's the case. Okay, last but not least, definitely not least, Code Name Edelweiss. This was gifted to me as well by a friend who is also an author who I enjoy her books tremendously, and I don't want to mention it because I don't want to be like, oh look, I'm in the know, an author sent me books. That's rude, but she knows who she is, and thank you. All right, this one is a page-turning tale. It's equal parts genuine danger, passionate bravery, and fearless truth, a daring and inspiring triumph. Adolf Hitler is still a distant rumble on the horizon when a Jewish spy master and his courageous spies uncover a storm of Nazi terror in their own backyard. This is a really interesting story dynamic. In the summer of 1933, Hitler is the new, powerful, anti-Semitic chancellor of Germany. But in Los Angeles, no-nonsense Secretary Liesl Weiss has concerns closer to home. The Great Depression is tightening its grip, and Liesl is the sole supporter of two children, an opinionated mother and a troubled brother. Jewish lawyer Leon Lewis has watched Hitler's rise to power and increasing anti-Semitism in America with growing alarm. He believes Nazi agents are working to seize control of Hollywood, the world's greatest propaganda machine. The trouble is, authorities scoff at his dire warnings. Okay, there's more to this, but I'm going to let it go. I'm going to read this one in a companion to another book, and that's another video that I'm going to put out in just a minute. But I wanted to share with you these 9 books. At the end of the year, I'm going to mark these down, and at the end of the year, we're going to see how I did. If the one book, the Colleen Coble book, if I've already, in fact, have read that one, I'm counting it because it was one I wanted to get done by the end of the year, and I know I listened to the book I'm thinking of this year, so I'm going to count it. Just a little bit of, detail there. Okay, so we'll see how I do, and if you have an interest in reading any of these books along with me at the end, through the end of this year, let me know. I would be really interested in what you might want to read.